Do you feel a sudden disinterest in the spiritual practices that once fueled your soul? Could this be a warning of a spiritual attack aimed at you? It's a realm where the concept of a spiritual attack becomes a pivotal point of concern, especially for those deeply connected to the universe. Understanding these attacks is crucial for anyone who feels a profound tie to the spiritual world, as it can significantly impact both spiritual practice and daily life. Let's dive into the 7 warnings of spiritual attack. The first sign is a noticeable disinterest in spiritual activities. This shift is not minor. It's a deep, profound loss of motivation and joy in practices that once served as the cornerstone of your daily life, your inner peace, and your connection to the universe. Imagine waking up one morning to find that the sunrise no longer moves you. The meditation sessions that once grounded you now feel like empty rituals, and the spiritual texts that used to light up your path seem dull and lifeless. It's as if the colors of your spiritual world have faded to gray, leaving you wandering in a landscape where nothing sparks the light within you anymore. This disinterest isn't simply about being too busy or momentarily distracted by the hustle and bustle of life. It's deeper, more insidious. It's as though a veil has been drawn over your spiritual eyes, blinding you to the beauty and wisdom that once guided your steps. Your daily rituals, once vibrant threads woven into the fabric of your life, now feel like cumbersome chores that you're obliged to carry out, devoid of the meaning and fulfillment they once held. Why does this happen? The answer often lies in the subtle encroachment of spiritual lethargy, a creeping malaise that gradually disconnects you from your spiritual essence. This disconnection doesn't occur overnight. It begins with small, almost imperceptible changes in your behavior and feelings towards your spiritual practices, until one day, you realize the passion that once fueled your spiritual fire has dwindled to mere embers. You may start to notice that the time you set aside for meditation or prayer is now easily given up for mundane activities, that the spiritual community you once actively participated in now sees you as a stranger, and that the quest for deeper understanding and connection with the divine now seems like a distant memory. This isn't just a phase, it's a sign, a warning even, that your spiritual well-being is under attack, subtly eroded by forces that seek to sever your connection to the deeper truths of the universe. But there's hope. Recognizing this sign is the first step towards rekindling your spiritual passion. It's an invitation to examine the path you're on, to question what has changed, and to confront whatever it is that's casting shadows on your spiritual journey. It's a call to action, urging you to reignite the flame of your spirit, to brush away the ashes of disinterest, and to rediscover the joy and purpose that your spiritual practices once brought into your life. Reconnecting with your spiritual essence requires intentionality. It may mean setting aside time each day to meditate, even when you don't feel like it, or reaching out to your spiritual community for support, even if pride makes it difficult. It might involve returning to the spiritual texts that once inspired you, reading them with fresh eyes, and allowing their wisdom to penetrate the fog of disinterest that has settled over you. The journey back to spiritual engagement is deeply personal and unique to each individual. Yet it's a journey worth embarking on, for the richness and depth it adds to your life is immeasurable. As you begin to take these steps, remember that the universe hasn't abandoned you. It's simply waiting for you to open your heart once again to the infinite possibilities that spiritual connection brings. Let this be the moment you choose to seek out the joy and purpose that once illuminated your path. Share your story, your struggles, and your victories. In doing so, you not only reclaim your spiritual vitality, but also become a beacon of hope for others who may be wandering in the shadows, searching for their way back to the light. The second sign is the emergence of financial difficulties that not only test your faith, but also challenge your very spiritual beliefs. This isn't about the occasional economic hiccup or the expected ebb and flow of resources. It's a persistent, gnawing challenge that forces you into a corner, where the choice between your reliance on the universe and the pressing material needs becomes a daily battle. These financial trials can manifest in myriad ways, Perhaps it's the sudden loss of a job that you thought was secure, leaving you adrift in uncertainty. Or it could be an unexpected expense that wipes out your savings, leaving you questioning why, despite your faith and spiritual discipline, you're facing such hardship. It's as if every dollar you earn slips through your fingers like water, and every step forward is countered by 2 steps back. This relentless financial strain does more than just empty your bank account. It empties your spirit. The worry and stress that accompany financial instability can cloud your connection with the universe, casting a shadow over the beliefs that once felt unshakable. You find yourself questioning the very foundations of your faith, wondering if your spiritual path has led you astray, or if the universe has abandoned you in your time of need. But it's in these moments of doubt and struggle that your faith is both tested and fortified. The universe isn't challenging you out of malice or neglect. It's an invitation to deepen your trust, to surrender the illusion of control over your material circumstances, and place your faith in something greater. It's a call to remember that spiritual wealth often comes dressed in the guise of material lack, teaching you lessons of resilience, gratitude, and the true value of things unseen. Facing financial difficulties as a spiritual trial requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing these challenges as punitive measures or signs of failure, see them as opportunities for growth, as catalysts that compel you to reevaluate what truly matters. It's a chance to strip away the superficial layers of materialism and rediscover the abundance that flows from a well-tended spiritual life. In doing so, you reaffirm your commitment to your spiritual path, recognizing that true security and peace are found not in the accumulation of wealth, but in the unbreakable bond between you and the universe. The third sign is physical and mental exhaustion that isn't linked to any known medical condition. This weariness is a thick fog, a relentless force that engulfs you, sapping your strength and dimming the light of your spirit. It's an exhaustion that settles not just in the bones, but deep within the soul, making even the simplest spiritual practices feel like insurmountable tasks. This isn't the tiredness that comes from a long day's work or the natural ebb and flow of life's rhythms. It's a profound depletion that defies explanation, leaving you too drained to connect, to reach out, to engage with the sacred practices that once brought solace and strength. Imagine the activities that once filled you with energy and purpose now seem like distant, almost alien concepts. The thought of meditating, of praying, of attending a spiritual gathering, once sources of immense joy and replenishment, now feel like climbing a mountain with no peak. This exhaustion is an anchor, dragging you down, keeping you from the spiritual heights you were once so eager to explore. But why, you might ask, does this happen? This weariness is often a signal, a beacon alerting you to the fact that your spiritual connection is under siege. It's as if an invisible force is methodically working to cut the ties that bind you to the divine, to make you so tired, so utterly depleted, that you no longer have the strength to fight, to stand, to seek the light. This force thrives in the shadows of your fatigue, in the moments when you're too tired to remember your own divinity, too exhausted to feel the universe's embrace. This type of exhaustion is a tactic used by those malevolent forces that wish to see your spiritual defenses crumble. They know that a weary warrior is easier to overcome, that a tired soul is more susceptible to doubt and despair. They aim to tire you out to the point where the very idea of spiritual nourishment seems like a far-off dream, unreachable and unrealistic. Confronting this exhaustion requires more than sleep. It demands a reconnection with the sources of your spiritual power. It's about finding those small, quiet moments of peace amidst the chaos, about learning to draw strength from the stillness within. It's about recognizing that this weariness is not a sign of weakness, but a call to arms, an invitation to battle back against the darkness with the light of your faith. Reviving your spirit in the face of such exhaustion is a journey back to the heart of your spiritual practice. It may start with a simple acknowledgement of your tiredness, not as an enemy, but as a teacher, guiding you back to the essentials of your faith. It's in these moments of acknowledgement that you can begin to shed the weight of your weariness layer by layer, until you find yourself light enough to rise, to reach out, to reconnect with the divine. The path through this exhaustion is personal and unique to each individual, but it is traversable. It might involve rekindling your spiritual practices in small, manageable ways, finding joy in the simplicity of a mindful breath, the quiet of a moment's prayer, or the community of a spiritual gathering, no matter how virtual or distant. Each step, no matter how small, is a victory, a reclaiming of your energy and spirit from the forces that seek to drain them. Remember, the universe has not abandoned you in your weariness. It waits patiently with open arms for you to find your way back from the fog of exhaustion. Your journey back to spiritual vitality is not just a path to recovery. It's a testament to your resilience, a declaration that no amount of tiredness can sever the connection between you and the infinite. In recognizing and confronting this exhaustion, you reclaim not just your energy, but your place in the vast, interconnected web of life and spirit. The fourth sign is an overwhelming sense of confusion, fear, and anxiety. It's like a storm that sweeps in without warning, turning your world upside down and obscuring the stars that once guided you. This isn't just the garden-variety nervousness that everyone experiences from time to time. It's a profound, all-consuming emotional turmoil that clouds your judgment and distorts your perception, making it nearly impossible to hear the universe's gentle whispers. Imagine you're navigating through life with a compass that has always pointed you in the right direction, offering clarity and guidance whenever you needed it. But suddenly, that compass starts spinning uncontrollably. The paths that once seemed clear are now shrouded in mist, and every decision feels like a step into the unknown. The goals and dreams that you were once so passionate about now seem distant and unattainable, lost in a fog of doubt and insecurity. This confusion is often accompanied by a paralyzing fear that freezes you in your tracks. It's the kind of fear that keeps you up at night, your mind racing with endless what-ifs. What if you're making the wrong choices? What if your faith has been misplaced? These questions don't just nibble at the edges of your mind. They consume it, leaving you feeling helpless and isolated. Anxiety, too, becomes a constant companion, whispering worst-case scenarios and feeding into the cycle of fear and confusion. It's as if you're caught in a whirlpool, each wave of worry pulling you further away from the calm center where you once found solace and connection with the universe. But why does this happen? It's as though malevolent forces are intentionally muddying the waters, trying to sever the lifeline that ties you to the universe. By instilling fear, they aim to distract you from your spiritual path, to make you doubt the guidance and protection that have always been your anchor. They know that a soul adrift is easier to sway, easier to pull away from the light. Recognizing this sign for what it is, a spiritual attack, is the first step in reclaiming your clarity and strength. It's about acknowledging the storm, but refusing to let it capsize your boat. Remember, the universe's guidance is still there, shining like a lighthouse through the fog. It's up to you to tune out the noise, to calm the waters of your mind, and steer your way back to the path that leads home. The fifth sign is the resurfacing of old habits and negative influences, a forceful tug back into patterns and behaviors you believed were left far behind in the shadowed corners of your past. It's a bewildering and often disheartening experience, watching as the vices, dependencies, or toxic patterns you once conquered, or so you thought, claw their way back into the light of your present. You might find yourself reaching for that bottle of liquor you swore off, the one that promised oblivion but delivered only regret. Or perhaps it's the toxic ex-partner you've blocked and unblocked on your phone more times than you care to admit, their presence a familiar poison. It could even be the spiral of negative self-talk you thought you had muted, now whispering insidiously in your ear once more. These aren't mere coincidences or simple lapses in judgment. They are signs, clear as day, of a spiritual attack aimed to derail you from your path of growth and enlightenment. This resurgence is not a reflection of failure or weakness. Rather, it's an orchestrated attempt by malevolent forces to exploit your vulnerabilities, preying on your moments of doubt and periods of instability. The goal is clear: to disrupt your spiritual equilibrium and sever the connections you've worked hard to forge with the universe. By reintroducing these old habits and influences, these forces aim to anchor you to your past, making it exponentially harder to evolve and ascend spiritually. Confronting these resurgent shadows is no small feat. It requires a reservoir of strength, not just from within, but also drawn from the universe, your spiritual guides, and the supportive community you've built around you. The key is to recognize these patterns, not as setbacks, but as challenges to be met with resilience and determination. Remember, every time you resist the pull of these old habits and negative influences, you reaffirm your commitment to your spiritual journey. You declare with every choice that aligns with your higher self that you are not defined by your past. The universe, in its infinite wisdom and compassion, supports you in this battle, offering you the tools and guidance needed to overcome these trials. The resurgence of past demons is a clarion call to armor up spiritually, to deepen your practices, and to lean into the love and light that the universe offers. It's a reminder that the path of spiritual growth is not a linear ascent, but a spiral, where facing old challenges with new strength is part of the journey towards enlightenment. The sixth sign is isolation from spiritual communities. This isn't just about missing a few gatherings or feeling a bit out of place. It's a profound sense of disconnection that creeps into your very soul, creating a chasm between you and the fellowship that once felt like home. It's as if you're standing on the edge of a vast, yawning gap, watching as the community you once felt part of moves on without you, leaving you stranded on the other side. This isolation doesn't happen overnight. It begins subtly, with excuses that seem valid at first. Maybe you tell yourself you're too busy, or you're just not in the mood to attend that spiritual study group or prayer meeting. But as time goes on, these absences become more frequent, and the reasons behind them less convincing. Slowly, you find yourself drifting away, not just from the gatherings, but from the very essence of communal spiritual life. The impact of this isolation on your spiritual foundation cannot be overstated. These communities are not just groups of like-minded individuals. They are the bedrock of your spiritual support system. They are the collective heartbeat of your faith, offering encouragement, understanding, and a shared journey towards enlightenment. Without this connection, your spiritual life begins to wither like a plant starved of sunlight, leaving you feeling adrift and alone in your spiritual quest. This reluctance to engage with your spiritual community signals a deeper issue at play. Perhaps it's fear of judgment or a sense of unworthiness that holds you back. Or maybe it's a growing cynicism towards the beliefs you once held dear. Whatever the cause, the result is the same: a weakening of your spiritual resolve and a loss of the communal joy and strength that once buoyed your faith. Recognizing this sign is a call to action. It's an invitation to bridge the gap, to reach out and reconnect with your spiritual brethren. It's a reminder that you are not alone on your spiritual journey, that there is strength in unity and healing in fellowship. By overcoming the barriers that keep you isolated, you can restore the vital connections that nourish your soul and reinforce the foundation of your spiritual life. The seventh sign is unsettling dreams and visions filled with ominous imagery, signaling an assault on your subconscious spiritual connection. This isn't just the occasional nightmare or strange dream that everyone experiences from time to time. It's a consistent pattern of dreams that leave you waking in a cold sweat, feeling as though the darkness has seeped from your dream into your waking reality. These aren't merely figments of your imagination. They are vivid, often disturbing visions that claw at the edges of your consciousness, leaving you feeling unsettled and on edge. You might find yourself standing on the precipice of a vast, dark void in your dreams, the sense of something sinister lurking just beyond your field of vision. Or perhaps you're haunted by shadowy figures that seem to chase you relentlessly, no matter how hard you try to run or where you try to hide. These dreams come with a message, a feeling of dread that lingers long after you've opened your eyes, a whisper in your mind that something is fundamentally wrong. This barrage of nightmarish visions serves a purpose for the malevolent forces at work: to shake the very foundation of your spiritual peace and to sever the threads that connect you to the divine. The imagery and emotions these dreams evoke are designed to instill fear, to make you question not only your spiritual path, but also your sanity. It's as if these forces are meticulously picking the lock to your soul, seeking to infiltrate and corrupt your inner sanctuary. But why, you might ask, would your dreams become a battlefield? The answer lies in the vulnerability of the human subconscious. In our dreams, we are untethered from the rational, guarded selves we present to the world. We are open, exposed, and thus susceptible to spiritual manipulation. These night terrors are a direct attack on your spiritual well-being, aiming to weaken your resolve and distance you from the comforting embrace of the universe. Facing such dreams requires more than just willpower. It demands a reaffirmation of faith and a conscious effort to fortify your spiritual defenses. It's a call to arms, urging you to cleanse your mind and spirit, to seek solace in prayer or meditation, and to reaffirm your connection with the divine. Remember, the power of the universe within you is far greater than any darkness that seeks to invade your dreams. Stand firm in your faith and let the light of your spirit dispel the shadows that haunt your slumber. Recognizing the signs of a spiritual attack is crucial for preserving your spiritual well-being. Being vigilant, actively seeking guidance from higher powers or the universe, and continuously fostering your spiritual growth are fundamental strategies to effectively navigate through these adversities. It's essential to remain steadfastly connected to your spiritual path and the universe, drawing strength and wisdom from this connection. This approach not only helps you to withstand the challenges posed by spiritual attacks, but also allows you to emerge from them stronger, more enlightened, and with a deeper understanding of your spiritual journey. Dear audience, have you experienced these spiritual trials? Share your story. Your journey could illuminate the path for others and reinforce the communal bond that helps us all navigate the spiritual battles we face.